Looking good, bruh. Looking good. You already know the vibes, boys. The lady's on her phone, bro. That's crazy. Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another BikeLyfe video. And today we're going to be doing some more window shopping because your boy's still broke. We're also going to talk about stuff because I feel like it. And I'm tired of being alone, so I just talk to you guys, I guess. Someone just has their hood popped up. Bro is working on his car. Alright, I guess today we're going to go over probably reasons why I love this bike. So fucking loud. But we're gonna probably go over maybe like 3 to 5 things I love about this bike, 3 to 5 things I just don't like about this bike. And as much as I love this bike, there are some downsides to this bike that like cause like complexity. I'm pretty sure like I could already list like 1 or 2 things just based off the build video, because for some reason everything just has to be complicated. First thing I love about this bike is obviously the build process. Everything happened to kind of work out. It's just I had to fine-tune a little things, but the power is pretty good. I'll give the power pretty much. It goes up to 55 on a good day, but at least I can get through traffic. Second thing I love about this bike is just the design of this. Honestly, the way I designed it, black and gold, I knew it was actually going to work out. I just know black and gold works with everything. You just have to do it tastefully, and it was actually kind of simple to do it, and it definitely turns a lot of heads, that's for sure. So I'd say the design aspect of things I put on this thing and the way I designed it, I think is pretty good. That's another good thing I just love about this bike, and it turns heads and it gets attention the way it wants, and it's just beautiful, bro. Let's see, another thing I love about this bike is honestly, well, I guess it's kind of like environmentally based, or it's kind of biased because I live in a small town and these things are rare, but I would say the practicality of this and how minimal it requires to even ride this thing. Like, you don't really need a motorcycle license to ride this, because even though it's like an e-bike. But yeah, honestly, the way this is kind of built, I mean, because it did come with pedals, right? So the bike actually came with pedals stock, so I can actually swap it out in case, you know, cops like get very stingy, because as long as it has pedals, they won't really care about it. But since I live in a small town and it's very rare, they don't really care, or they don't want to do the hassle of like what they put it in as, you know. As long as you follow traffic laws and all that stuff, they actually don't care. So that's actually a really good thing I love about the bike, is that especially where I live, no one really cares about them. And you know, you get the waves and gestures from other bikers, so that's pretty cool. I love people like that. You know, I even wave to even e-bikes and other bicycles just because I feel like it. You know, everyone's got to be appreciated. Yeah, obviously we're at the mall and you got a Hot Wheels car display. That is pretty cool though. I fuck with it. Help yourself. They got a cookbook and other stuff. It's been a while since I've been in the mall, so I'm excited to see anything that's new here. I still don't understand, why would you have that in your own house? How the hell do they have a purple violin here? How did it even get purple in the first place? I've never seen that before. What the fuck? They got more 3D printed stuff, guys. Dude, that's sick. How did they make that? Got masks and stuff. You can 3D print a gun, or is that just for display? I really hope that's just for display. There's no way they 3D print a gun, dude. That'd be crazy. Let's see. So we got the looks, the power, the practicality. I think that's about 3 or 4 things. It's fun to ride. That's the one thing it's fun to ride. You know, you catch up with traffic, you can pass traffic. You can barely pass traffic. I mean, it barely goes over 50. But that's just the one thing that I just love about the bike, is that I can keep up with traffic, I can ride with other bikers. They just can't be zooming because I can't keep up, because that's actually a downside about the bike. But overall, it's just the ride is just fun. It's just fun to ride. That's really it. I can't really express how much I love the bike and the reason why I like it, because it's just overall it's fun. The process is just beautiful. So obviously we talked about the good things that I love about the bike. Now we're going to talk about the downsides of the bike, and there's actually quite a handful, because I probably already explained it before and you've probably already seen it from the build video, but it was complicated to build because the parts that I got that best fit the conversion just didn't line up. Like, they're talking about the brake rotors. Like, I had to use washers and stuff to realign the brake rotor and the wheel to the rear axle, and it was a pain, but it actually kind of worked out. But that was probably the most difficult part about the building, was realigning the rear wheel, which is tough. So I would say, like, the little struggles about building it was definitely a downside, because not everything fit perfectly. And obviously when you build something, sometimes things don't go your way, right? But sometimes you have to, come up with a solution. And I actually happened to do that, which was not too bad, but still, I wished everything was fitting perfectly, because I did a lot of research on converting it and putting it together. It just, for some reason, just didn't want to fit. So, alright, so another downside about the bike, and this actually also includes the rear wheel, because for some reason, nothing can just be perfect. So the rear wheel, the way the tire is aligned on the rim is actually a little off. I don't know if it's like a deformed tire or something, but like, I tried to air out the tire and then try to reinflate it and try to realign the tire, and I kind of fixed it, and then it just got messed up again. So it was like, what was the rear wheel tire kind of wobbles a little bit. So like, when I lean into an angle, if I lean too far, the rear wheel just kind of like is bumpy. So like, that's kind of sketchy, and that's something you don't want to do, especially if you at any point just lose traction. So I have to be careful when I lean. So I have to go more of like a slow speed when I lean and not a fast one, because then obviously, like I said, the rear wheel is bumpy a little bit, and that doesn't help with maintaining traction. So that's the one thing I just don't like about. I don't know if that's like a build quality issue, but I mean, hey, what can you really work with, Now, another downside about the bike is not really easy to wheelie. I've never wheelied it, never wanted to wheelie it, but if anyone was going to try to wheelie it, it's not going to be easy, because one, it's a rear hub motor, and two, it's not a 72 volt. It doesn't put enough power to really do that. So if you really wanted to wheelie it, you would have to literally throw the bike up, probably at like a slower speed, because like I said, it doesn't have enough power. So that's kind of a downside. So you can't really stunt it. I mean, if you wanted to, you really have to try. At the same time, it's not easy, because like I said, no power, well, not enough power. But then it's just, and plus there's not really a rear brake setup, so you're kind of like, you're gonna figure out the hard way eventually. Got anything else cool? They got another Corvette convertible. They got whatever this is. Don't necessarily know what it is. They got the NSX on sale, bro. You can buy the NSX, $15. What is this car? I've never seen this one before. Lexus LS 430. Oh, I've seen one of these before. I think I might have known somebody actually owns one of those. That's cool. Oh, look at that. This is a smaller scale Ferrari. It's missing a taillight though. Weird. That's pretty cool though. I actually have a bigger scale of this, funny enough, because I am a sucker for Ferrari, so I have to collect like every Ferrari, you know what I'm saying? Oh, look at that. One of the rare trucks you don't see anymore. Chevrolet SSR. Bubbly boy. Pretty cool. So if there's one thing I'm gonna buy from here, it's probably that NSX, bro. That's probably the coolest thing I've seen so far. Alright, another downside about the bike. I would say it's not fully, completely built the way I wanted it to, because it's a 60 volt battery with a 72 volt controller. So the bike is it has a 72 volt controller, right? It's rated for 72 volts max for power output, but the battery is only a 60 volt, and obviously I went with a 60 volt because it was the cheapest one I can get that puts a decent amount of power. Now obviously I didn't go, like I said, I couldn't get the 72 volt because it was just simply too expensive. I didn't have the money for so I went with the 60 volt because I knew it was going to put at least a decent amount of power to keep up with traffic. But I would say that's another downside, because it doesn't put enough power for the controller. Oh my god, look at the bike lineup. They actually opened this up. I don't know if they were trying to put more bikes on here, but like, holy crap. Look at this. This is new. I've never seen this before. This looks like a mini bike, but it's electric. And it has a twist throttle. Look at that. That's cool. It's like a mini bike. It's like one of those, but it's electric. That's cool. This one a moped style e-bike, relatively. You see these on the internet all the time. Also has half twist throttle. The one downside about bikes like these, especially if they're in a retail store, 600, 1100. That's expensive. You know, for 1100, you can actually get something that's actually faster than that, which is funny because I bet you that only goes 28. This one's actually not too bad. I would say for 600, that kind of looks like a mini bike, but it's electric. I'm assuming this goes like 22 to 26. It's actually a Schwinn. That's actually new. I've never seen that. Wait, that might just be the seat. But for $600, I would say that's not too bad. But for 600, you could probably get something that's like this size of a bike, but also have the same battery and power. So, and it's probably easier to take off-road than I don't know. You'll just have to figure that out yourselves. And then you got the mini bikes. See, look at this. This is $800. Why get that, even though it's electric, when you can get this? I mean, this thing is like pretty cool. And it's a 196cc. This is actually the same like cubic centimeters as a gram. So you can really just get a gram for that price. That's pretty cool. Some lawn chairs for $70, bro. Jesus. $70 for a chair is kind of insane, actually. I mean, you can go to a garage sale and find a chair for like $10. That's almost the same. You gotta live the broke life, you know what I'm saying? Alright, so another downside about the bike, and I actually pointed this out in a test ride video, actually, is that I don't know what percentage of the battery's at. It doesn't tell me on the display, it doesn't tell me on the battery, and it doesn't tell you on the charger, so you really can't tell how low of a battery you're at. So the only way I was able to figure it out was keep a track of the odometer and the voltmeter, because usually when I have a full charge, it's at 66 volts, which is pretty much the maximum output for the the maximum output I put for the controller to pull out from the battery, because if I put too much, then it's going to shut off and it's just not going to work. This is what I want to buy. I got to get my boy Alex one of these. He would love to have one of these and just build a cool ass gun. Look at that freaking AK, bro. That's simply cool. Is that a Barrett 50 caliber? Oh my god. I would actually buy that, actually. I would buy that. Yeah, me and my boy Alex, we gotta get one of these before he moves. He's actually moving out of the town I live in into a house. He's gonna be a homeowner. I'm proud of that guy. But I miss hanging out with him. We haven't been hanging out lately because we've been busy. But yeah. And probably one last thing about the downside of the bike, and I actually pointed this out in a different video, but it's not winterized and it's not waterproof. I haven't really put a shield where the controller and stuff is, or figured out a cage or anything like that, so I can't really ride it in the rain, and it's probably not recommended to ride in the snow because of all the exposed wires and stuff. So I can't really trust it in the wintertime. So that's probably also one of the reasons why I'm thinking about selling it, is not only I'm not going to be able to ride it that much in the wintertime because Kansas weather is awful, and I don't want anything to go wrong with the wires, but at the same time I want to get something better. I want to get maybe either a motorcycle or actually get like a pre-built, you know, e-moto, like a Talaria, Rar Mantis, you know, because I have the amount of money I put into this bike and how much it's worth now is almost as equal as to a Talaria and such. So I could literally like direct trade if I'm lucky, which could happen, but I wouldn't say it's 100% easy to do. But yeah, that's pretty much kind of my list of the things I love and don't like about my bike. Obviously it kind of goes hand in hand, you know, it was worth building, but at the same time there's just a little things that kind of keeping it from being the complete best thing ever and perfect, because nothing's perfect, you know. When you build something, it's very, very small chance for it to be perfectly built. As my bike, the dreams I had was fully maxing it out, getting the best but the most affordable kind of conversion for a bike as for the GT73, because the GT73, I think they kind of like updated now. They put a little more power on it and probably made it, I guess, more reliable, but for the bike model that I have, totally underpowered. Definitely doesn't meet the expectations of what an e-moto or e-dirt bike is supposed to be. So I kind of like built it the way it's supposed to be, you know, 60 volts at least, 5,000 watts of power, has great brakes, great suspension, especially the air shocks in the back and the front. I think they did a good job in terms of how it handles, how it brakes, and the suspension, but the power is just not there. That's the one downside about the GT73 stock, is just how underpowered it is. It has the potential, but it's just so underpowered. It deserves more power, which I'm kind of glad the company kind of put more power into it. But you know, if they want to compete with the market with like higher, faster e-bikes, definitely need more power. Even though like that kind of goes against like the legality of it, you know. Imagine buying your kid that. Oh my god, I would buy that. It's been a while since I've been in the bookstore. I'm gonna put myself in danger because I'm a biker, and you know how book talk girls are. If I even find any. I'm here to see what new kids books they put on the shelves. I'm surprised they're still making Diary of a Wimpy Kid books, dude. This was my childhood. They're on like the 20th book, dude. Yeah, dude, they made almost 20 books of these, dude. I used to have all the way till, I think, where did I stop? Probably 8 to 10. I think I was like on the 8th to 10th book in my collection, and then I got rid of it. And they made like almost 10 more books since. It's like crazy, bro. I give them props for making that many, though. That's crazy. Imagine having a marathon of that shit. Save yourselves. That is the most dangerous section to be at as a biker. You do not want to be near this. You do not want to be near this area, bro. Oh my god. I'm not going to be that guy, trust me. But I am putting myself in danger of being in this area, though. There's like multiple books of these. One of these days I'm gonna get one of these. Oh god. Oh god. Not safe. Not safe. Do not want to be near those. It is dangerous. You do not want to be near those. So no head? Alright. You know, there are things I love and don't like about this bike, but in the end, I had fun building this thing, and I definitely had a lot of fun riding this thing. And I'm definitely riding it as much as I can before I think about actually selling it. I know someone out there is going to be willing to ride this thing and enjoy it and get to tell a story about it. I know I definitely got to tell a story about this bike on how I built it and the process, and I got to share that with you guys. I honestly think that that's already enough for me to enjoy. Simply beautiful. Hey, I guess we're gonna go ride around, I guess. Maybe find a girlfriend. Fuck me, dude. I would love to find myself a future wife. That would be nice. Where do we find one of those? Well, it's about the middle of October, and I don't necessarily know what I'm gonna dress up for Halloween, honestly. Even if there's anything to do on Halloween, bro. We're still enjoying the weather while we still can, honestly. I'm glad it's still relatively warm out. Gotta enjoy moments with this bike before I don't see it anymore. We'll just have to see in the future on what's gonna happen, because anything could honestly happen from here. Could use the money to figure my life out financially. Oh my god, that bike is sick, dude. Great aspect, great aspect. Even got a smoke shield on that thing, dude. That's so fucking dope. I would love to have one. I would ride that bike if I ever owned, like, if I had to ride that bike, I wouldn't mind it. Bike away, bike away. Alright, I think we'll wrap it up for today's video. If you guys enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you guys want to see some more bike life content, hit that subscribe button, and I will hopefully see you guys in the next video. Yay!